Okay, a very good morning to all of you, online and offline students. Am I audible? Online students. Okay, good. So let's today discuss the question answers of this chapter. The chapter that we completed yesterday, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. So the first question on page number 8 says, you will probably agree that this story does not have breathless adventure and exciting action. What in your opinion, what is your opinion about this? Why do you feel that the story is interesting? When it is not having any adventure or exciting action, but still it is interesting, what makes it interesting? Yes. Online students, raise your hands, and offline, you do. What is it about the story that makes it interesting? Yes. So one child says that the story from among the online students, the story has suspense till the end. This is one part. What else about the story? The manner in which the story is narrated. How? Yes. Yes, the way in which Murad has an understanding with everybody, and he says, "I have a way with horses. I have a way with farmers. I have a way with dogs and everybody." And also how the author, who's the author? It's how the author William Sarwa, how the author gives us an insight into the working of young children's minds. Okay, how the innocence of Aram in justifying the wrong act of stealing of his cousin. How he's justifying it by saying that if what does he say? What does he say? How he justifies the act of stealing of his brother? Till the time we don't plan to sell the horse, it doesn't amount to stealing. Okay, for me it is not stealing at all. This is what he says. If we don't intend to sell it, and we have no intention of selling it. Okay, because he knows that the family is known for its honesty for say around 11 centuries, and nobody is going to take advantage of anyone. Nobody is going to ever think of stealing. But now, when he knows that his brother has actually stolen the horse, so he justifies it by saying that this is not stealing because we only intend to ride the horse. Okay, so how you will talk about the narrative, how this or the author and the narrator. The narrator is Aram, a 9-year-old boy. How he tells the story in a very simple and engaging kind of a manner. Okay, and also we will talk about the craziness of Murad. We will talk about how crazy the uncle was, and how and all these things that make the story interesting. Okay, next question says, did the boys return the horse because they were conscience stricken or because they were afraid? Offline students, you also have to respond. Online students are giving the answer, but offline students are just sitting passively. Akriti, hold on. Let the others also think over it, and you can also give the answer, but later on. Let me ask this from the offline students first. Yes, offline students. Who's going to respond today? Ananya? Did the boys return the horse because they were conscience stricken or because they were afraid? Yes, Ananya.
Because they were conscious, because they were not afraid as the man who owned the horse. He was so sure that their family would never steal anything, so he just wrapped up the thing and didn't tell anybody. But they were conscious stricken and they were maybe not. They felt embarrassed because their family was so truthful and honest, and they stole it and they just returned it to the family.
Yes, good. Yes, Akriti, you can also give the answer. Akriti, respond. Yes, very good. It was just a prank out of it was a kind of you can say it was a kind of a childish prank. They were so passionate about horses, they wanted to ride a horse. So Murad, he stole it, and they had been riding that horse for around 1.5 months. But the trouble started when they came across John Byro. That was the time when the trouble started, and John Byro, even though he was fully aware that the horse was his, still he did not question them. And because he did not want to make them feel embarrassed, and he was so sure about the family's integrity and honesty, and he had inherent faith in the goodness of these children also. And so they were maybe they felt guilty and they were pricked. Their conscience got pricked. So because of that, they returned that horse. Okay, and because they knew that now their family's honesty would be at stake if they did not return it. Got it? Next question says, one day back there in the good old days when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream, the story begins in a mood of nostalgia. Can you narrate some incident from which of this you can do on your own? Okay, this you have to do on your own. And only first, second, and third questions you have to do from the textbook. The rest, I had shared an assignment with you. Did I? Yesterday, did I share the assignment? Yes, I have. I had shared an assignment with you. Can anyone just share it here or should I do the needful? So the first question says, let's discuss this assignment. Short answer question, 3 marks. Why did Murad steal the horse and then return? Why did he steal the horse and then return? Why did Murad steal the horse and then return? Don't zoom it, Akriti. I'll do it myself. इसको zoom नहीं करो आप. Okay? Why did Murad steal the horse and then return? Somebody else apart from Akriti and Ananya, they've already answered. Aman, why did he steal the horse? अभी हमने यही डिस्कस किया है. जो हमने टेक्स्ट बुक क्वेश्चन में डिस्कस किया ये भी उसी का ही पार्ट है. Somebody from the A section, have you done this chapter? You have not? Not done this chapter. Okay. Why did he steal the horse and then return? Okay, so from among the online students there are many. Yes, Gurman. Gurman. Yes, very good. So he stole the horse because he was crazy about horses. He was so passionate about the horses from the very beginning, and they knew it very well that they would never be able to buy a horse. They couldn't because they couldn't afford it. So as a child, he just he just stole it. But then he returned it when they came across John Byro. And John Byro, in spite of the fact, in spite of knowing it fully well that the horse was his, he did not claim it. And because knowing fully well the fame of the family for its honesty. So maybe that pricked his conscience. He was conscience stricken and that is why they returned. They decided to return the horse. Next, what distinction does the narrator make between stealing a horse for a ride and stealing for money? The narrator is Aram, a 9-year-old boy. What is the distinction that he makes between stealing a horse for a ride and stealing for money? Yes, Khushi?
According to him, stealing was considered when they could steal for money, not for that ride. They stole it for just riding the horse. So he didn't consider that stealing.
He did not consider that as stealing. He said maybe according as far as he knew that stealing a horse for a ride was not stealing at all. And it would not be considered stealing till they
Sell it.
decide to sell it. They would never do that. So they're not doing it for money. And they have not stolen money. So this is not, you will say that he is an innocent child, a 9-year-old mind. If you just peep into the psychology of a 9-year-old child's mind, then you would understand that he is just trying to justify the act of his brother, the brother who had actually stolen the horse. Okay, next is, which tribe did Aram belong to and what was the image of this tribe? Which was the tribe? Yes? Garoglanian. Yes, it was the Garoglanian tribe. And what was the image of that tribe? They were known for their honesty, they were known for their trust, they were known for their truthfulness, and they had been known for this honesty for say around 11 centuries, even when they were considered as wealthy. Now they were very poor, they were poverty struck, but now even when they were wealthy, they were known for their honesty and truthfulness. And no member of their family could ever take advantage of anybody, let alone steal. ठीक है, मतलब किसी का फायदा नहीं कभी वो उठा सकते थे. स्टीलिंग तो बहुत, चोरी तो बहुत दूर की बात है. नेक्स्ट, describe the incident which confirms that the narrator's uncle was indeed crazy. There's one particular incident, a very humorous and a funny incident, which confirms that his uncle was actually a crazy person. Somebody who's not answered before from among the online students, apart from Gurman or Akriti, somebody else. Yes. Yes, very good. So the incident that clearly shows that the uncle was a crazy man was the one wherein he was getting his mustache trimmed in a barber shop, and his own son Arab, he came running 8 blocks just to tell him that the house was on fire, but that made no effect on him, and he just said, "It is no harm." Just remember this line: "It is no harm. Pay no attention to it." And even when the Baba reiterated this fact that his son was saying that his own house was on fire, still he snubbed him and spoke the same statement again, that there is no harm in it and nobody should pay any attention to it. Okay, next. How did the narrator know that his cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse? Very simple question. How did anybody know the answer before? Somebody from the offline students. Let the offline students also be given a chance to speak. How did the narrator know that the cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse? Somebody who's not answered. Anybody who was not answered before? Yes. Yes. So because the family was extremely poor, they could never have afforded a horse, and therefore he was sure that even though that this thing was quite unbelievable, and but still, because they couldn't have bought the horse, so that made him quite sure that he must have stolen it, and this fact was also later on proven when he asked his cousin Murad. Long answer question, 6 marks. Describe the circumstances which prompted the boys to return the horse to its true owner. We've already discussed it as part of our textbook question, so we would not discuss it again. Attempt a character sketch of the narrator's uncle. Yes, some of the characteristics of the uncle. Speak up. Character sketch of the uncle. Uncle Khusro. कुछ characteristics बताओ, and you can. He was gentle at heart. Yes, very good. He was homesick. He was a very large man. He was a crazy person. Yes. Or. Both of them, Murad and the uncle, they had got that crazy streak, which the family, the Gadoglanian family, Gadoglanian of the Gadoglanian tribe. They were both of them were considered as natural descendants of that crazy streak, Uncle Khusro and Murad. He was a, you can add on some of his physical traits also, like he was a well-built man, and he had large mustache, and he got irritated. Even though he was very gentle at heart, but he got irritated very easily. He never had any patience to hear anything from anyone. He would never hear people out. Whatever may be the reason, he would never. And he just snubbed each and everyone, and he silenced each and everyone by shouting, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." Okay? So he was a crazy person. He was, and nobody could change the way he would think and the way he would talk. But he was very gentle at heart, and he was slightly homesick also. Next. Who was John Byro? Describe his meeting with Murad and Aaron. Yes, who was he? Who was John Byro? Online students. Online students and offline also. Think over it and tell me who was John Byro, and describe his meeting with Murad and Aaron. Ashish, can you give the answer? Hold on. अब बोलो. John Byro? Who was the real owner of the horse? After this, describe his meeting with Murad and Adam. Who would describe his meeting with Murad and Adam? How are you going to describe his meeting? Yes, Ananya. Just a minute. Yes.
One morning, as usual, they would go to the ride of the horse, but once they clashed into John Byro while he was going to his vineyard, and when he clashed, he just saw the horse, and he was just stopping him like he was opening his mouth and looking at the teeth, whether to confirm that the horse said that it's okay, it is your horse, my horse is stolen, and it is just a twin of it.
Yes, very good. So, John Byro was an Assyrian and he was the real owner of that horse that Murad had actually stolen. And once when he came across, both of them while he was returning home, and he came across both of them, he knew it very well that the horse was his, but still keeping the family's integrity in his mind and knowing fully well that how famous they were um, their for their honesty and truthfulness, he, what did he do? Aman. He he just went away and he just told them that this was exactly the same horse. And he even said that if in my place there had been any suspicious person, then that person would have believed his mind and not his heart. And he believed his heart. That means that he was not questioning them, even though he knew it very well that that was his horse. But still, he went away by just saying that this was the twin of his horse, not his own horse. At times, we are really tempted to take up any activity that is reading, swimming, horse riding. To pursue such an act, we are ready to even steal. How far do you justify stealing to fulfill your desire? Do you justify this act of stealing to fulfill the desire of horse riding? Or, yes, online students? Online students, do you justify this act or any other act that might, similar act that might be done to fulfill your longings, your desires? Yes, this is a moral question. Yes, without, this is general question. Online students, anybody from among the online students can give the answer. Anyone who has not answered before? Or anybody? Even those who had answered. If they want to, they can also give. Speak loudly, Gurman. Okay, good. This is one point. He says that you are doing it for fulfilling your desires and wishes, but then by doing so, you are hurting somebody whose thing you are stealing. But is this the only reason? Just because you would be hurting someone by stealing, their things, is this the only reason why you shouldn't steal? Where would the society be heading if we would all steal and for fulfilling our longings and desires? Okay, अगर हम सब चोरी करने लग जाएंगे तो हमारी सोसाइटी का क्या बनेगा? Okay, so this is a basic question. This is a basic question about your moral values and ethical values. Why are these values instilled in a child? Because childhood is the foundation where your character is the foundation where the character is laid. So why are these values instilled in the mind of the children? We have to keep these things in mind, not just because by doing such acts we would be hurting someone, but what else? Yes.
Um,
Somebody wants to add on? Yes. Bolo? Then you can. Bolo? Yes. And it would also tarnish the image of the family and spoil the name of the child, of the person also. What else, Ananya?
Ma'am, if we just keep on fulfilling our desires by holding or stealing something, it would just turn bad. Ma'am, why serial killers kill people? Because of their desires. If everybody would keep on fulfilling their desires.
Yes, you can have a desire of not just stealing. You can have n number of desires, and there is no end to your desire. Once you start getting the things by stealing or such acts, then your thirst for such things, your hunger for such things, and you have to this is where your conscience comes in, the vice and virtue. You have to think what is right and what is wrong. Why are certain things wrong, and why are certain things right? Why you have to follow the right path? You have to keep all these things in your mind. So this is all about this chapter, children. If there's any doubt about this, you can ask me. You have to complete these questions plus this assignment that we've already discussed today, and you have to submit it by Friday. I'll be sharing this in your Google Classroom also, and submit it there only. And please submit your pending assignments if there are any. This is the third assignment. Please complete them in time and submit them, because your internal assessment is going to be based upon your regularity and your timely submission of your work. Yes, roll number. Let's move on to the attendance part.